Have you ever been caught in the toxic whirlwind of a narcissist? Have you ever felt drained and powerless against their sophisticated psychological games? They lure you in with sweet words, manipulate you with lies and deceit. They turn you into a puppet in their play, where you are always the one who sacrifices, yields, and submits. But don't despair. Even narcissists, with their colossal egos, have critical weaknesses. Today, I will reveal 7 secrets that can shatter their arrogant facade, helping you break free from the toxic cycle and reclaim your power. Join me as we delve into the dark psychology of narcissists and arm ourselves with invincible weapons to protect ourselves. When they lose their source of ego fuel. Narcissists are like energy vampires, constantly seeking recognition and admiration from others to feed their inflated egos. They have no hesitation in draining the life energy and mental well-being of those around them, turning them into prey to satisfy their unquenchable thirst for adoration. They treat others harshly and selfishly, seeing them as mere puppets to control and manipulate. They demand their fans blindly follow every word and action, while evading any responsibility for the consequences of their behavior. In this way, they create a toxic vortex where they are always the center of attention, while others are reduced to satellites revolving around them, serving their needs. Behind the facade of arrogance and confidence, narcissists are, in reality, weak and vulnerable individuals. They are perpetually haunted by the fear of being seen as inferior to others because, deep down, they know that everything they project is fake. Lying has become a habit, a method to conceal their insecurities and flaws. That's why they are always on the defensive, ready to react aggressively when questioned or accused. Thus, you don't need to argue with a narcissist to win a pointless battle. Don't waste your energy trying to change their mind. The truth is, narcissists know exactly what they want, and no argument will persuade them otherwise. And no support person will persuade them otherwise either. Simply say yes or okay and remain silent. Stay calm and avoid overreacting. Choose your battles wisely to avoid getting dragged into meaningless disputes. When you do this, the narcissist will no longer have a source to feed their selfish ego. For them, even a negative response is better than being ignored, because a reaction means they still have influence over you. By ignoring them, you neutralize their manipulation strategies. This will cause their ego to crumble. And you stay silent with them. Your silence is like a direct blow to the narcissist's bloated ego. It no longer serves as the tranquil space they can manipulate, but becomes a cold wall that separates them from their usual power, control over your emotions. No more pleas, no more explanations, no more emotional reactions for them to exploit. Now, that absolute silence becomes the sharpest weapon, plunging them into confusion and uncertainty. When they can't read you, they become consumed by vague thoughts. Are you planning to expose their true face? Are you plotting revenge? These unanswered questions make them anxious and disoriented. The narcissist's ego cannot tolerate uncertainty. They begin projecting their own malicious nature onto you, believing you are scheming just like them, as they cannot imagine anyone existing without mirroring their own tendencies. However, she saw how easily anyone existed without mirroring their own tendencies. In the distorted world of the narcissist, everyone is selfish and cunning. And now, your silence becomes the mirror reflecting their greatest fear, losing control of reality. At this moment, you regain control. Silence is not just a shield, but a psychological blow, forcing them to confront what they fear most, their own emptiness. With no one left to manipulate, no one to blame, the narcissist is pushed into the dark corners of their mind, where the emotions they've always avoided, loneliness, insecurity, and insignificance, come rushing in, irresistibly. Holding them accountable for their actions. Narcissists thrive in the shadows of blame-shifting and evading responsibility, using a perfect facade to conceal their inner frailty. But when you dare to hold up the torch of truth and force them to face the consequences of their actions, their fragile ego begins to crumble. Imagine placing a giant mirror in front of them, reflecting every lie and every misdeed they've worked so hard to hide. The blinding light of truth not only illuminates the hidden corners of their soul, but also lays bare the imperfections they've always tried to deny. The arrogant mask that shielded them from their true emotions is now pierced by the sharp needle of reality. The narcissist's ego, built on a foundation of manipulation and illusions of grandeur, trembles and cracks under the unrelenting judgment of accountability. They can no longer hide the fact that their once prized sense of power was rooted in lies and inner weakness. Once believing themselves the center of the universe, they are now forced to confront a harsh reality. They are neither omnipotent nor invincible. When you hold them accountable, you don't just shatter the perfect facade they've built, but also strip them of the power they wielded over you. They feel exposed, like a naked figure stripped of all illusions, with nowhere left to hide. In that moment, you free yourself from their toxic manipulative cycle and force their ego to face its inevitable collapse. This is not just your victory, but their greatest defeat, the complete loss of control over their own fragile reality. Must end it. Refusing to accept their projections. Narcissists carry with them a shadow, a repository of ugly truths and dark corners they dare not face. To avoid confronting this reality, they employ a cunning tactic called projection. They shift their weaknesses, flaws, and negative emotions onto others, especially empathetic and compassionate individuals. This is their way of shielding their fragile ego and escaping the truths they lack the courage to face. Picture them as a movie projector, constantly casting their shadow onto you, making you the protagonist in the narrative of their faults. In this psychological game, their mistakes, failures, and negative emotions become your problem. They aim to burden you with responsibilities for errors they'll never admit to. In doing so, they temporarily escape their internal torment, maintaining the illusion of a perfect self they so desperately cling to. Projection is more than a means of escape. It's the narcissist's last defense for their arrogant yet fragile ego. By blaming you, they not only evade responsibility, but also insidiously erode your confidence and self-worth. They want you to feel bad about yourself, to believe every misstep stems from you, all to mask their own insecurity and emptiness. Only by refusing to play the role of victim in this projection game can you deny them a place to hide. The narcissist's inflated ego will crumble when they are forced to confront their own shadow, the very thing they fear most. At that point, the truth compels them to face their real selves, complete with all the imperfections and weaknesses they've tried to bury. Recognizing your own autonomy. Accept a painful but necessary truth. The heart of a narcissist is barren ground, where compassion and understanding will never take root. Don't waste your precious time waiting for them to change or redeem themselves. The nature of a narcissist is unchangeable because they will never acknowledge their mistakes. The only thing they protect is their fragile yet terrifyingly arrogant ego. When you release your expectations and stop seeking validation from an emotionally barren soul, you break the chains of the narcissist. They will no longer have the power to manipulate you, nor the ability to trap you in the dependency they've so carefully constructed. Their ego will begin to falter as they realize their prey is no longer so easily controlled. Your autonomy, the ability to say no and refuse to engage in their toxic games, is the strongest blow to their arrogant ego. Don't be surprised if they react with anger, employing more cunning tactics to pull you back into their control. But don't be afraid. Your firmness is the one thing they cannot handle. Narcissists depend on controlling the emotions of others to sustain their sense of power. When you withdraw, focus on yourself, and build happiness from within, they are left confused and powerless in a reality they cannot change. Remember, the freedom and peace you achieve are the narcissist's greatest failures. They cannot bear your escape from their control, nor can they accept that their ego has been exposed and destroyed by your self-empowerment. This is not only your triumph, but a resounding declaration that they no longer hold any power over you. When you don't chase after them. In the love drama where the narcissist plays the director, they demand the leading role, controlling every detail to suit their desires. Their delusional ego is fueled by a sense of ultimate power, where your heart is just a pawn in their calculated game of cat and mouse. They revel in manipulation, savoring every emotional reaction from you as confirmation of their self-created illusion of power. When they grow bored, they might abruptly drop the curtain, leaving you lost amidst unanswered questions, uncertainty and pain. But don't be mistaken, the play isn't over. Narcissists rarely leave entirely. They enjoy watching you struggle in despair, pleading and begging for their return. Every plea, every tear from you is nothing more than a dose of doping. If I'm so terrible, why does this person still suffer for me? These irrational thoughts are how they justify their cruelty and evade accountability. However, everything changes when you courageously tear up the script and refuse to play the suffering victim in their game. That's when the narcissist's illusionary ego begins to crack. They can't handle seeing you calm, strong, or even happy without them. It completely disrupts their fabricated world, where they are the center, the only one allowed to blame and be angry. Their ego collapses when they realize they no longer hold any power over you. Narcissists are like shattered mirrors, reflecting only the distorted images they've created, never seeing their true selves. They cannot confront the mistakes or pain they've caused, simply because they don't care. But when you refuse to engage in their games, when you reclaim your autonomy and peace, you deal a fatal blow to their inflated ego. With no one left to manipulate or blame, they are left alone with the emptiness and insecurity they've always tried to hide, and that is their greatest defeat. When you're happy with someone new. The ego of a narcissist cannot bear to see you happy with someone new. But don't mistake this for regret over losing you. They never truly loved or valued you as an independent person. What they mourn is the loss of a source of supply, a prey they once had control over. In their distorted and selfish view, you were not a beloved and cherished individual, but merely a piece in their power game. When they see you move on and find happiness with someone else, it doesn't just hurt their ego. It shatters their illusion that they had permanent control over you. They see this as betrayal, not out of love, but because you dared to escape your role as prey in their eyes. This enrages them, not because they've lost you, but because they've lost their sense of power and someone who once fed their fragile yet bloated ego. Rather than bless your happiness or reflect on their mistakes, they may attempt to demean you or even sabotage your new relationship. To them, the idea that their prey could find happiness elsewhere is unacceptable. Remember, this pain doesn't stem from love, it comes from wounded arrogance. In their distorted world, you were always supposed to belong to them, forever under their control and manipulation. Your happiness without them is undeniable proof that their power has been destroyed, and this is their greatest failure. These are the 7 critical weaknesses that can dismantle a narcissist's inflated ego. I hope this insight has helped you better understand how these distorted egos operate, and more importantly, how to protect yourself from their manipulative whirlwind. Remember, you deserve happiness and peace. Don't let anyone, not even a narcissist, take that power away from you. Love yourself, nurture your inner strength, and walk confidently on your own path. Ultimately, true happiness comes from within. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. to support our channel. See you in the next video.